Okay, hello everybody. This is TSdL Season 8, Round of 32. We have Newbie versus Esterification, joined by me as Whooper. Say hello.
Hello. I I know Esther because I've played him a few times. He was actually my round of 64 opponent, and I misplayed and threw a match against him. So I know a bit about how he picks and bans. We can have that as well. And Newbie is playing a box. Uh, well, if you look at his box, I think you have a good idea of what exactly he's trying to do.
It's
We've
it's
got a
it's it's a Newbie box.
Yeah, it's a single target trade box. He's got a bunch of units that revive, are good at trading, have decent range, and I suspect he'll be first picking IBC versus Esterification, who has a pretty typical tank push box. Instead of Christian, he has Landius, um, and he also has a bit of a protagonist lean. He's known as kind of a protagonist player, but I think against Newbie, he's brought out some more standard units like Cherry, Cherry, Epsilon, Wetham, of course, and he's got
Lusty.
an Oldius. Yeah, Illustriel. Look, I'm not gonna say that he chose Illustriel after the map was picked because that's probably not fair to him. But I personally would not start Illustriel in any of my boxes until I know that it's going to be. I put her at she's a side box unit basically.
That is honestly a bit of a gray area. I mean, there's no way to stop anybody from doing that, right? Or enforcing it. So I mean,
Yeah,
if you see the map and you change your units because of it, I mean, well, what can you say?
I had this exact conundrum in my game with him, where our first map was actually Windy Outpost, and there was a bit of a delay between starting and not. I was like, do I put Lusty in? Do I not? And I put her in my side box, and then we eventually played another game on Windy Outpost where I had sided her in, but um, either way, maybe he just has Illustrial in his main box. That's maybe something he just wants because he wants another assassin and he doesn't believe, like, maybe he doesn't have Verna built, or maybe he doesn't have another assassin he is happy with. But anyway, the box matchup, I think, is going to be Esther first picking a tank. In my experience, he likes to first pick Landius, even if you don't ban his Hilda. But I banned his Hilda, so I'm not entirely sure what will happen. I suspect Newbie will do much of the same, force him onto Landius, turn Archon into a live pick, and have a bunch of units, including Wataru and Infantry Verna, who can bust through Landius with ease.
Yeah.
Whereas Esther,
Yeah, Newbie is gonna first ban Hilda. That's pretty much always what this sort of single target box is gonna do. Hilda's so difficult for single target to deal with. Newbie stands firm that single target cannot deal with her. Last time I checked, Landius is certainly a much better matchup for a single target box like this.
yes, even units like Helena and Elwyn, who are theoretically not good against Landius, can at least dispel buffs and can at least do enough AoE damage to deal damage to stuff around Landius. Hilda is just a massive problem for more than just a few units in this box.
And you see Newbie's box and Esther's first ban. It should really be IBC, right?
I agree. I think that with IBC neutered, Newbie has to rely on units like Rosalia, who is basically a trade unit at this point. Clarette, I suppose, who is also pretty much just a trade unit. The only other units I could see being reasonable bans at all are units that are hard to get rid of, um, like Wetham and Helena possibly. But personally, I wouldn't ban Helena here, or a unit like Archon which revives, or Elwyn, I suppose.
Yeah, so let's see. First ban's Ham.
It's a respectable first ban.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Hilda is banned, IBC will be picked, and then from there, Newbie.
Wow.
Okay, fine. Elwyn, all right, aggressive pick. Maybe he knows something a lot more than we do. So banning legs immediately, but IBC is still able to be picked. Landius pick is fairly normal. Illustrial is a map pick, and Wetham is a threat all round. We'll probably see. Well, there's so many units you could pick here, right? I think you could make a case for a lot of these. You could argue for Cherry. You could argue for Pepsi, you could argue for Archon. Lucretia is a strong carry. Verna can not only kill Landius, but kill basically everyone else. Hell, Tejas is really good for positioning. Whereas yesterday we were talking about whether units would be able to be killed or not because Hale's team was so bulky. Esther does not have a particularly bulky lineup. He mostly has a bunch of units who are squishy, and then you have units like Odious and Elwyn who revive, Pepsi who's got a shield, Lovina revives as well, and then everyone else I think will not trade favorably with Newbie's box.
Yeah.
So yeah, Newbie's goal I think is going to be to eliminate as many strong units as possible. By strong I mean units who can revenge kill after he sends somebody in. And then when Esther's left with only like tanks and pseudo DPSs like Odious and healers, then he will eventually win out because he just has higher DPS density.
Yeah, Newbie's philosophy is basically I'm just going to pick all good DPS units, I'm going to try and trade one for one, and then at the end of it you're going to be broken down to your tank and healer, and I'm going to still have ideally 2 DPS or something, and then I can just take you down with that, right? And where Esther's goal is to survive and not allow Newbie to get these favorable trades. Picking up Elwyn immediately tells you that Newbie's plan is probably going to be based around dispelling Landius' guard. He's not necessarily trying to bust Landius himself. He's trying to get around to the squishies to kill them instead.
Yeah. Newbie is a much better ST Rush player than I am, but if it ever gets to the point where it's just Elwyn versus just Landius, Elwyn does lose that matchup.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Elwyn heals, Landius doesn't.
Well, Elwyn's like the leader, right? He's the one that's gonna just go in and die.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think it's ever going to be a late game matchup like that. But if Esther does pick up some ways to reach across the map, when Elwyn runs in, he could run in and trade for another threat, like, for example, Epsilon or, well, Epsilon, Lucretia, Archon. All these units are really resilient, powerful threats in their own right. So let's just see what happens. I expect that it'll just be threat after threat, and we'll see how these match up. It's a bit of a puzzle.
Newbie's laughing at me in chat, so I must be wildly wrong somewhere.
Okay, he's better at this style box than either of us.
Yeah.
There's a Pepsi. Maybe he's laughing at me, you never know that. Yeah, so getting rid of units that can counter kill is pretty standard here. Gonna pick Pepsi. Pepsi has made a lot of units here, pretty good follow-up picks as well.
Yeah, like pretty much almost all of this is Wataru Meteor?
No, I don't think so. I think he's yearless protect time.
But new Rash is, right?
No, he actually isn't.
My
Only
God.
original. So he's mythical, yearless, and strat.
Why is he myth?
Wait, I think he's myth. Because
I believe you.
I don't believe me anymore. I'm pretty sure he's not Meteor. I'm pretty sure I made this exact same mistake, and I wasn't punished.
Let's look.
He is mythical. I was right, but it's fine. He is myth, strat, and yearless. But Dieheart, Cherry, and Claret are all buffed. Juggler is buffed as well. Verna is buffed as well. This has opened up a lot of his box, and the units that aren't buffed don't need a buff. Wataru will kill whatever he touches anyway, Archon usually kills, and Lucretia brings her own buff. So now he's got a full suite of really powerful DPS into a team of range reduction auras so far.
And Odious is here because there are still
I don't know if you're talking or not, but you may or may not be muted.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you now, yes.
Okay, then it's because I was clicked into Langrisser, so
I see. Sure.
I just need to not do that because I don't feel like resetting this. Regardless, Odious got picked up. He does prevent Juggler, he does prevent Claret, does prevent Cherry, but prevent is a bit of a strong word, isn't it? It's more like Odious.
I don't know. Odious needs to clock 3C to really be a game controlling unit.
He stalls.
Yeah, it's like he's not gonna stop Lucretia marching across the map slowly. He's not gonna stop Verna from slowly, banding there menacingly. And I'm pretty sure Wataru isn't affected by him either. Nor is Archon.
Yeah, I wanted to look at that. I don't know if Wataru's terrain master or not, but I don't think he is.
Let's pull it up. I'm pretty sure he's just a big dumb DPS. I've got Wikigrisser here as well. Well, we can see what the pick is.
Yeah, okay. So
Oh, wow.
Claret gets picked up here, and the idea of Claret is you use her 3C to disable the tank, and with the passive seal on a unit like Landius, that's effectively removing 1 life already, right?
It's also just removing his ability to guard.
Yeah, because he just can't.
Yes. TJS...
It's buff block
TJS
too,
is-
right? It's buff block too, right? So even if you bring 2 guards, you still can't get around it.
I believe it's immediately passive block and then buff block. I need to check again, though. Claret is... I used to really use Claret a lot, but these days it's been a while. It is... Oh no, both passive block and cannot be buffed after battle, so if she doesn't kill, she still quote-unquote takes a life.
Yeah, it's basically she nullifies Landius as a tank after she hits him with 3C, provided she removes the guard.
She also removes, I think it's like 6 buffs or something.
Yes, 6.
She removes more buffs than anyone else in the game, short of like units with Raw and Sword Soul. I'm sure there's someone out there who does that.
Yeah, 6, I mean, you can put like Mjolnir on some units or something and probably also hit 6. I don't think you can get much more.
It's a lot of removal. Like, in this sort of composition, Claret is a great tank disabler, so we'll see what happens.
And TJS, I mean, she's got teleport, she's a strong DPS,
I don't know if teleport's useful here,
yeah,
but she is a strong DPS.
Based off what Esther has in his box, there's probably not going to be any great teleport plays here.
I did think Lovina might have been a useful one because he has a second life. It forces either Claret or Elwyn to slam in with one of their skills to disable the revive. But
Plus,
maybe
plus no healer, right? So if Lavina could just come in and drop his 3C, it could be pretty devastating to the team. But at the same time, Newbie does have a lot of self-sufficient units.
Pretty much, because like Elwyn heals, what's his name? Epsilon heals. Claret doesn't. I mean, Claret doesn't heal, but she has first aid. Lucretia, Wataru both heal.
Werner will heal, yeah.
Yeah, if Werner's on, terrain will heal. Werner here is a problem. Yep, so he's taken out those units. Newbie could. I mean, Dog can help with positioning if he so chooses, but I think Diehart's got the better range. Diehard does actually have an assassination target in TJS. I don't know if he can kill Ares. Maybe he can.
He can definitely kill, but can he reach? I mean,
right.
He outranges him, so...
He does outrange him, doesn't he, by 1. But no, he's Terrain Master, so Oldius is going to make that an issue. They're both Terrain Master. So whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, Juggler can lock down Landius and force the push.
I mean, Juggler, well, I guess it depends. Does Esther pick up Tiaras, and then, because after Juggler jumps in, she can kill Juggler, but she's probably going to need to be healed, maybe?
I think he has to pick Tiaras here. If it's coming down to a trade battle, he does not have the... I don't think he's favored in a trade battle.
Ares kind of just doesn't suit this sort of bad pick, does he? I mean, I guess he can come in and get 1 kill, maybe.
I think I would have picked Lovina here.
Yeah.
If I was Esther, but I'm not playing his box. I'm not sure exactly.
Lovina has a revive. I mean, he can just hop in an AoE, and it does cripple Newbie for at least a turn. But I mean, yeah. Do you need Tiaras? I guess only if Newbie picks Juggler, right?
Yeah, Lovina's not a bad pick either. Pick Diehard, that's fine. He doesn't need Juggler to beast shock anything. There's no Ares is there, but like, are you really that worried about the AoE? I'd say no, because like, there's not enough good follow up. Like, if T just runs in, she's just immediately killed by literally anyone else on Newbie's team.
Yeah, I mean, there's Werner and Pepsi, so as soon as she hops in, either one will. It doesn't matter if you have Lando; they're just gonna kill her. In that already, there are plenty of ways to disable this Landius from guarding to begin with.
I think so. Claret is quite good against Landius specifically. and he's got three assassins anyway. So we'll see how this goes. I think that Esther has nullified the range advantage with Odious, but at the same time, that's not going to keep up forever, and eventually units are going to start dying. And when that happens, Pepsi is going to take over the game. Werner's going to be very difficult to deal with. Elwyn can clean up. It's well, let's just see what happens, I guess.
But I mean, since we can't pause, I guarantee you we can just look at these units and still tell you every single one of their skills.
Okay, let's do that. So, Elwyn is going to be 3C. I don't know what Newbie's thoughts are on Twilight Star, so it's either going to be Crush or that other random 1C.
Yeah.
It couldn't be. It's not going to be Defense Break. I don't think it'll be. I mean, it could be Detect, but I doubt it. So that's that. I mean, Pepsi is probably going to bring either Accelerated Aid or his other guard Ignore. I'm not going to think too hard about it. I don't think it's going to matter supremely. Clarette is going to bring her normal kit of 3C, Ride the Wind, and probably her double axe.
Raging Thunder, yeah. And then Werner, his skill set doesn't change. Die Hard.
No, it does on this map. You can make an argument for the
Savage Attack.
Terrain. Not Savage Attack. Because his 1C could he doesn't need Sneak Attack. Because I don't think it actually kills anyone. Maybe Odious, hard to say. He could pick the Jungle Master or whatever that one's called.
Warfare Tactics is, I believe, the name. And yeah, Warfare Tactics is what you bring around. That's the only thing that changes about Werner, whether or not he brings that 1C. He can sometimes bring Savage Attack, but I mean, that's pretty niche. Die Hard doesn't really.
I assume Die Hard just brings his Pledge, puts it on Clarette, and that way if Landius brings Lancer soldiers, then he can still be an offensive presence. I guess Odious can also bring Treants. I mean, anyway. On Esther's side, I think that Landius has only one loadout. Odious is going to bring Light Array. TJS will have the standard Strengthen teleport, probably.
Yep.
Now, Ares is interesting. I think there's a strong case for Noble Charge, because he wants to be able to revenge units, and Wind Whisper I don't think is very useful in this particular situation.
There's no way that Newbie is gonna bunch up at all, so Wind Whisper is just not gonna be helpful.
And also, I think Esther is not going to be trying to wombo anyway, so there's no point in bringing Wind Whisper for that. Tiaras is a bit interesting. I suspect it's just going to be 3C Miracle Heal, but you could make an argument to make her a pure healer. I don't think you're going to need the oomph of Attack Blessing and Attack Blessing adjacent skills to kill anyone on Newbie's team, but
+1 Moby.
Exactly, the mobility is what you probably want here. So I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. The troops, I don't think the troops are pretty set, right? It's going to be like
Bolt Rangers, Steel Wings, Sorks, or Fairies, sorry, Fighting Monks,
no, Odious could be
Warlocks, Archer, Warlocks could work too.
There's no reason for landing.
Sorry, you're cutting out.
I assume Landius will be Heavy Sense. I don't see a reason for him to be other things at this point.
Yeah, and then Clara, her troops don't change. She pretty much just always runs. Did she get Mechanical Knights?
I don't think she did, but even if she, I mean, it's Griffins. If she got Mech Knights, then Mech Knights. Sometimes Clarette runs Heaven's Guard, but there's no reason to run that here.
Not on this map.
Pepsi is Zombies. Well, Die Hard is most likely the Fairies.
Die Hard is Fairies. He does not really run much else. Okay, what about Werner?
That's the only one. My guess is that he's probably just going to matter. There's no one here where it matters. Like heavy infantry is probably the bulkiest. Space might be the highest. I'm not that's good.
You're a bit muffled, but I did hear most of it. Yeah, Werner probably brings heavy infantry. I don't think there's any reason not to, and usually that's what I like to default to.
Oh, heavy infantry, but probably multiple.
You're still sounding a little muffled.
Sorry, it makes him doubly vulnerable to TJ's Fireball and Tiara's Fireball, but I don't think that's particularly big concern. Alright, let's see how it plays out.
I guess I could probably like click on them real quick. Oh wait, no, I just I can't click on them at all. So
Play. So Claret actually fully take it, right?
you're still sounding muffled. Are you like I don't know what's up? And so far everybody's just playing really passively, or at least Newbie's playing passively, feeling out his opponent. Esther is positioning a bit forward more aggressively. He's playing within the range of his tank, trying to get his units within range of Newbie's to be able to counter something. Ares does want to be able to potentially go back, and we see Esther going immediately.
I feel like Ares should have been saved to try and kill Elwyn.
Yeah, Ares killing Elwyn is really nice, but instead Esther was more worried about what Claret could potentially do, and there is picking out Pepsi's shield here, which is not bad.
The only thing Claret really does is enable Elwyn to kill things, because everyone else is an assassin. Alright, now what happens? We've got 4 incredibly potent DPSs versus Oldius and TSdL.
Yeah, Newbie says can't reach Elwyn, but what we were saying, Newbie, is that maybe Esther could have benefited from waiting to try and get Elwyn later. But I guess you can never reach Elwyn as long as he stays back.
Yeah, pretty much. But if he doesn't take out Elwyn, then Elwyn is a major issue going forward.
Because you have to it'll basically force Esther to stay in one range of the tank. This is a TSdL kill.
Yeah, TSdL dead is basically the game. There's no way that 3-man combo beats all of those DPSs.
Yeah. Just, Esther moved a bit too close with TSdL, I guess.
I don't think he could move any further. Yep, Landius taking an easy kill, but I don't think that's going to matter. Unless... Oh, that Oldius it's not going to matter. Tiaras dies.
Infantry Werner does have a very high output, and yeah, just at this point, there's nothing Esther can do.
Yep, so get rid of the guard. And then after this, doesn't really matter what happens. Either Pepsi gets the kill.
You still get valuable information from this game, that Elwyn is Twilight, so now you know that you can potentially snipe him with some fixed damage stuff.
Yes.
And this will be Landius no longer guarding. Oh my god.
Remember how strong Elwyn's faction buff is after a bunch of units die.
Yeah, just still. And plus it's Crush. Just those unicorns absolutely shredding, and just there's no way Oldius can beat a Pepsi and an Elwyn. I don't want to pause it just in case it somehow breaks the next one.
Yeah, so it is a Reflector Oldius, but that's not going to matter when he has a grand total of like 10% health.
Also, valuable information for Newbie's side.
I think he was expecting it as soon as he saw Warlocks, though.
Yeah.
There's no reason to run Warlocks without Draupnir as well.
True.
Yep, so Esther puts in, what did he put in? Assassin, no, he put in Luke, and he put in Diehard. So he's putting in some ranged unit. He's putting in Diehard for some more range, and Luke for someone who's a bit harder to kill. Other than that, I think he's still going to first pick Landius.
Diehard's still also somebody that can take out this Elwyn in one shot, which is pretty nice. I do think I like Lucretia more than TSdL here. She's a revive unit against all these annoying.
I mean, I personally think that TSdL was not a unit that Esther should have been running in the first place, because his box leans more towards being a tank pushy one with some amount of offense, rather than one that really relies on positioning via TSdL. There's a reason that most tank push boxes have phased out TSdL. She just doesn't bring it up.
She sort of like, if you're playing tank push, she sort of hangs back for like 90% of the game, and maybe she jumps in and gets one play, and because as soon as you jump in with her, she just dies right after. Newbie mentions he forgot it's best of 3. My side box is empty. Can't change units.
I think that if things continue, then in terms of strategy, or rather box synergy and strategy, then Newbie probably is fine. I don't think the strategy changes significantly just from those two being changed out. Because like Diehard and Illustrial are very comparable, and while Luke is basically a strict upgrade to TGS in this regard, it still doesn't change that much. It just means maybe Luke gets banned and Esther might get access to someone like, Cherry or something instead.
And so far, the bans were both the exact same. And so far, the picks. We're gonna see Ellen again. Ellen does also enable a lot of Newbie's box. There's a lot of glory.
Newbie's always been a proponent of the very strong Twilight Star Crush Elwyn strategy. So Elwyn to fight Elwyn, I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to do. Getting rid of some assassins. IBC is a very good pick up there. Now, like, all the box is really dangerous.
Esther picks up an Elwyn of his own. Elwyn versus Elwyn is a pretty interesting matchup in that whichever Elwyn goes in first can very easily be countered by the next Elwyn, or the other Elwyn rather.
Usually, it depends on what the follow-up is, because Elwyn specifically can't kill Elwyn straight up, you'll only disable him. And depending on turn order, the other Elwyn may even have a chance to run away. Because if he runs away, then the other Elwyn has to chase, or if there's no other follow-up. Yeah.
How did you feel about Diehard here? Like, sorry, finish your thought first.
I mean, Diehard's got good range, but he just is a straight-up trade unit, and Esther needs something to break the stalemate in terms of trading, because as it stands, Newbie's box is way better suited to single-target trading, and he has a lot of things that deal with Landius as a tank. Not to mention, units like Elwyn. I think that Newbie probably has more that straight-up deal with well, no, I think it's about equal. We've got Helena on both sides. No, Helena only on Newbie's side, but Ares on Esterification's side.
Yeah, what I was thinking was Esterification's options for dealing with Elwyn, rather. Like his Diehard instead of Elwyn. Because we know that this Elwyn is not fixed immune. So if Diehard can ever reach that Elwyn, then Diehard can just one-shot him and then stun somebody right after that, so... And there's not a lot of glory either. There's almost no glory in Esther's spots, so...
Yeah, he removed TJS, Cherry got banned. Liana is technically glory. Newbie is... I mean, he's just gonna pick trade units. A lot of these units have very much the same function as before. Helena's a bit weaker than usual. Rosalia's probably pretty good. Diehard's probably pretty good. I don't think Cherry's the pick here, but like... most everyone else is pretty decent. Juggler's a bit whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's an Elwyn. Once Elwyn comes, I mean, Juggler would be here to just drop an AoE, right? And this is not an AoE box.
There's a bunch of units there who can AoE, but you're right, it's not an AoE box. So Esther's going for long legs. Pretty reasonable. I expect Diehard to be the next pickup then. I guess you could pick Lovina.
I really like Diehard. I think Diehard's one of the best choices here. Just, you kill...
This is a full Protag box so far. Full Protag lineup so far.
As Esther likes. It's just Diehard's so good. You get one kill. It doesn't even matter who you get a kill on because you're gonna stun somebody after that, and there's almost no ways to dispel with Newbie because you have IBC defense formation, but it's not usable with this kind of box, right?
No, I don't think so. But right now, Newbie still outranges a little bit because of Helena.
And IBC, of course. I mean, you could even run like infantry units on these units.
I mean, technically, because Landius is a tank, Esther can push forward with Reckless Abandon and basically use Landius as a meat shield.
A mobility booster, so to speak.
Yes, a positioning aid. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Lovina's about what I expected at this point in time. So he's gonna get a full Protag lineup. And I mean, that's just how he rolls.
The double healer ban here is really interesting. I feel like Diehard is such a threat, but Newbie just doesn't care.
Well, Newbie's thinking of he's still gonna have 5 units versus Esterification's effective 4. And like after if Lovina has to bring faction buff, he's very mediocre. Like
Yeah.
faction buff, 3C, and Undying, he's barely a unit. He can't get counter kills very reliably.
You know what I think? I think Newbie doesn't want to fight Diehard, but based off the behavior he saw from Esther last game where he did pick up that Tiaras last, he really expects Esther to pick that Tiaras. And that's
No,
actually...
I think here Die Hard is absolutely the pick. There is no way you don't pick Die Hard here.
I agree with you that Diehard is the correct choice. Well, I mean, correct is maybe not the right way to put it, but I think that
Right.
Diehard gives a lot more value than Tiaras here.
So Newbie had the soul read here. Fair enough. It's not to say that Tiaras is an awful pick. For example, if it does get to a point where Esterification can snipe Wataru, then everything else is going to have at least a little difficulty breaking through Landorus. Of note here is that you can bring Helena with Highlanders here and still give her 5 mobility with IBC. The same actually does go for Elwyn, but unlike Helena, Elwyn's act again is going to be gimped if he does bring masked maids.
Yeah, and plus
So
there's a fair amount of terrain in the center of this map, and Elwyn can...
and not to mention Newbie is very much about the unicorns overpowering through sheer damage increase. So I
Yeah.
doubt he's going to bring masked maids or heavies. I do think there's a chance Helena brings Highlanders. Everything else is probably going to be quite predictable.
I can also respect the Tiaras pick because Helena coming in and just dealing a bunch of AoE damage to your team is also kind of devastating for your single target follow-up. I mean, Elwyn obviously doesn't care. Ares, he can heal a little bit. Lavina does not heal, right? So if Helena engages first and then all your units are crippled after that, you can't follow up, right? So.
Well, the thing is, none of Newbie's units are exactly bulk gods. Helena is a problem for sure, but like, Ares can take care of it. Elwyn can take care of it.
But
so
the point is that Helena engages first, and then if that hits a bunch of Esther's team and he doesn't have a healer...
Well, like, does that really matter? Because Landis is still going to be standing. No one can kill around Land. Well, I guess Diehard can. And then say Esther engages. Not Esther. Say Newbie engages with Helena. Then Elwyn takes the kill and it goes back to like nearly full health. And then what happens from Newbie? He doesn't have any AoE follow-up, so Diehard can come in maybe and then kill someone, but then whoever's left of Ares or I guess Landius can clean up against Diehard because he's not exactly a tanky boy. And then you're left with a matchup where, well, I guess Newbie's Elwyn is probably decent against Landius, but we still have like Tiaras is there, but if Diehard was there instead, then when Elwyn comes into attack, Diehard gets the revenge kill.
Isn't it more about how Esther's units are going to be really damaged from the AoE from Helena, so then they're not going to have the firepower to be able to follow up on these units, especially...
I think they'll have the firepower to get through a lot of stuff, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not too concerned. Lovina wasn't killing very much anyway. Landis wasn't going to take that much damage to begin with. Diehard, sure, he melts, but then Elwyn heals up to full. Ares has an act again and effectively reinforcement. Ares isn't the strongest in the world, but like, he's fine.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably fine enough. I just mean... That's
Helena is probably crippling, because like IBC having Sanseas and stuff, and Wataru having angels and whatever, is a bit bulky and hard to get through, but I still favor going for a full DPS lineup with Esther.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was just the rationale that came into my mind for picking up Tiaras here, so... skills real quick. Landius not gonna change, Elwyn not gonna change, Elwyn not gonna change, Ares up. Single target Ares, Lavina, 3C, and
he will probably bring... Will he bring faction buff?
He should not.
Because if he doesn't have faction... He shouldn't, no. He needs to bring his Sword Soul or Flying Slash, or whatever it's called. Because he needs to be able to revenge something. And Tiaras can give him a little bit of a buff with Sonata of Strife. Because if he brings faction buff, he has
one skill.
Does Lavina 3C do anything other than be AoE?
Not against Newbie's team. Newbie has so much healing.
So he could just bring he could just
Sword
bring
Soul. Yeah, bring like
he could
Sword Soul
bring
FB.
Sword Soul, right?
Yeah, Sword Soul FB Flying Slash. But then you don't
yeah,
ever
he could
revive.
just do that.
That should be okay.
No, you don't need Flying Slash. Just bring Sword Soul, Faction Buff, and Indomitable.
Do you think you'd need the revive?
I think it's very important.
Isn't Die Hard
but
gonna kill you anyway?
I guess that's true, and there's also the fact that unlike Elwyn, his revive is not going to get him back to. Oh, I guess he has Sun Slash. No, that's stupid. That's so stupid. He might need Flying Slash. Honestly, I don't think he wants to ram into something and die.
Yeah, Flying
Anyway.
Slash is 2 range, so it can be nice, right?
Yes. Whereas on the other side, look, I'm pretty sure Wataru only has one loadout. He has
does.
like the time to shine. He has the one that pulls him to the opponent, and then he has a 1.8 or 1.9. Helena is Helena. Elwyn, Newbie's Elwyn brings Crush, and IBC is 3C, Scarlet Formation or whatever, and Mass Attack.
I do know I've seen some shenanigans from Newbie in the past where he was testing out Attack Command Wataru just to try and guarantee tank kills.
Well, here's the thing: if Wataru has Attack Command, he might not need a faction buff, right? And at that point, you could actually just put
Isn't Wataru Glory?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He is what is his time, Yeelis, and Protag.
Oh yeah, he is Yeelis. God.
Yeah. So I there's no reason for Newbie to bring the 2C on IBC. But if he wanted to, he could possibly not. It's gonna be Mass Attack. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's it's speed Langrisser. Let's see how this goes. Esther going first this time gives him a little bit of initiative, but I don't think that's going to matter because the team comps are just... Yeah, okay, so it was Royal Cavs. Landius brought Royal Cavs. He knows that he's just not going to survive Wataru anyway, right?
Royal Cavs are your best choice against him.
Against Sandseas as well, I suppose.
Yeah, no, Royal Cavs are the best choice Landius has against Wataru by far.
I personally would just treat Landius as a very disposable unit and not worry too much about that.
Yeah, that's fair. You'd rather have the mobility.
I think so.
Tiaris did bring 3C, and again, she probably just has Miracle. Again, we see Ares going in.
Well, rather than mobility, I think it would be more important for Landius to be able to, like, kill units like Die Hard and Helena, and Royal Cavs are much worse than that, than, Heavy Sense.
Well, that's a pretty good Ares AoE. You get rid of the Die Hard, who just has that sort of 1 for 1.5.
Yeah.
But still, you're right, like, just like last game, Ares is the best answer Esther has to Elwyn. I mean, now Elwyn...
Can Elwyn reach Helena? No, she can't. So...
Did bring Flying Slash.
Flying Slash, yeah, takes out IBC, fair enough. Yep, so...
I mean,
whack goes.
The issue with this position is you can go in and kill the Elwyn or nullify him or whatever, but then right after that, Helena comes in and kills your Elwyn, straight up. Newbie still has Wataru as a DPS, just for endgame for that 1v1 against Landius. So, Esther absolutely cannot afford to get rid of Elwyn at this stage. He has to play pure tank push, and he has to yeah, you can't do this.
Yeah, this is not going to end well for you. Well, the question is whether Landius can weather the assault from super-powered Eternal Glow, Elwyn, and Helena. And I think the answer is no, as we saw in the last game. It's just they're slowly going to get chipped out. Oh, that is Royal Cavs Helena. Elwyn revives and then immediately dies. That's fine, whatever.
The Healing Light?
Healing Light? Will that save him? No, right?
He missed all the blood swords. Damn.
We might have a game on our hands. If Landius just waits out Elwyn's faction buff, we might have a game on our hands.
And now I know what Newbie meant by this game. I made a mistake in battling Elwyn. I forgot Tiaris. You know, Newbie, given the spoilers, is I'm just giving you a hard
Okay.
time. So yeah, the healing light, but I can't check the HP values, which I would have loved to, just to see how close or far it was. But no blood sword procs. We know that Newbie's Elwyn is not Bracer, so maybe if there were some more blood sword procs, that Elwyn still dies, but it doesn't, and that's the game.
No, at this point in time, I think it's too much. Okay. Well, turns out that TRS was the right pick for a reason I completely forgot. And it seems Newbie must have forgotten it too. But that is fine. If it was a different way around, what would have changed? Would he have instead hit Elwyn with Elwyn, perhaps?
Probably, yeah, because once you do that, Elwyn's shut down for 2 turns, and
Yes,
just
and even if Elwyn runs back, then Helena can run in, and the whatchamacallit, the AoE will just take out Elwyn there.
Yeah, Newbie says I should just wait and Wataru will kill Elwyn. So then I don't know what else he would do, but just not do anything. But, anyway, interestingly, we see Tsubame get brought out.
What does Tsubame do again?
Are you?
She hides. She's Meteor? Let me look her up.
That's it.
Look,
it's her hiding. That's the main thing.
that's literally it, right? And
Yep.
then she's got just some. Look, so I know that she has the 3C, which has the in Voyage, the rough sea icon is Tsubame's 3C. I don't know what it does, but I do know it ignores guard.
Her 3C is just a strong guard ignore, and
It is.
if she kills
She gets
somebody,
tied
yeah,
again.
if she kills somebody, she gets tied in. I mean, Esther
What
was
the hell?
running a pretty big single target focus box, so I can sort of see the Tsubame coming out. But now,
What on earth? Her exclusive is insane.
yeah, it's one of the best exclusives in the game.
Damage dealt plus 10%? Oh my god.
Regardless, Esther this time, originally Esther wasn't running too much AoE, and it was like a pretty purely single target box other than the Lovina, and you can say the oldest kind of, because AoE is what Tsubame needs to be 100% HP to be hiding. So if she's not at that, then she's not hiding and she's just dead. But unfortunately, Esther brought in Helena and Lucretia here, who both have great AoE options to dissuade Tsubame. So Tsubame sort of seemed like a nice try against the previous box, but it got counterplayed.
Good grief, do I shard Tsubame now? That's insane.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the first picks and bans are going to be pretty similar. I assume Newbie's probably going to go with Elwyn again. Esther's going to go with Landius, and then we'll see where it progresses from there. No, he
IBC
takes
first.
IBC this time. Yep, first IBC. First, this is the Tsubame being respected. You could argue for Wataru here actually.
Yeah, I don't know about the Tsubame ban. I think that Esther has plenty of things that can handle it. But I guess Esther just sees it as Tsubame and just maybe it's the, I don't know what this unit does, so they must have brought it for a reason.
I respect that as well, mostly because I don't know what Tsubame does. Newbie has a heap of good options here now. He can take Verna, he can take Archon, Wataru is not completely ridiculous to choose. Elwyn is still really strong. Die Hard is still really strong. Claret is really strong. I mean, how do you ban Newbie out of a good composition?
Newbie's constructed a box where he always will have a nice single target rush.
It's literally 15 DPSs.
That's what I'm saying. You can't ban the DPS. He's gonna get something.
There's no healers. Yeah, Archon. Archon's great. He's not super special good on this map, but he's definitely strong. Is it Elwyn from Esther? Yeah, it is Elwyn. Now you ban some more long legs, I presume. Probably Lavina. Lavina's a... Yeah, fair enough. Make sure you have the mobility advantage. If you're devoting yourself to IBC first pick, you want to make sure that is the case. Leaving up Epsilon is mildly worrying, but I think with Archon, you probably have a reasonable chance to snipe him.
Yeah, I agree. Elwyn You know, he might as well be Elwing. But
Yeah.
it does disable. Well, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought because something happened.
Alright, well, I think Archon is a really good pick because it means Esther has to be very, very careful with the, with his positioning, and if he doesn't and tries to go for a trade game, then Newbie's favored anyway, so, well, let's just see how it goes. Of note is that, Elwyn is good, but, he can't break through the State Guard's, Archon, if that is something to be picked. So Esther's picking some carries, I think that's pretty reasonable. He bans tiaras. I love it.
Why does he ban tiaras here?
Scarred from
Mobility?
last game. Yeah, it's probably mobility. If you take IBC first, you commit to getting the mobility advantage, which is what he's got right now.
I was just thinking, like, you don't need attack blessing for these units.
No, you don't. But Tiaras would give the mobility boost, whereas right now Florentia doesn't do that, IBC doesn't do that. Yeah.
And yeah, Wataru gets picked up. Great against Landius, and the really nice thing about Wataru is that he heals like 99% of his HP every turn. It might as well be.
I'm pretty sure Wataru just kills Elwyn too.
Does he? How? Oh, yeah, because you can hook him after, and I think it... I don't know if his hook does damage.
No, you can, he doesn't need disable revives? Isn't that what he does?
Oh,
Am I thinking of Rio? I might be thinking of Rio.
I think they both do it. I have Wataru up.
No. So if they have one or less movement or are stunned, then they
Yeah.
cannot activate revive. Sorry. So that is not the case. I'm thinking of the wrong character.
Well, no.
Whatever. Wataru kills a lot of stuff.
No.
Esther has shown that he wants to prioritize Wataru if he has the option to. So he's a bit of a lightning rod in that sense as well.
Wataru's hook brings him down to that mobility. So if he can get in on Elwyn first, then he can kill him, yeah.
I think you might have not muted yourself, or maybe there's other stuff here.
Tabbed into Langrisser. Wataru, his hook lowers their mobility, so it will enable that effect.
Will it? It only lowers it by like 2, doesn't it?
Oh
wait, let's see. Inflicts movement -2, cannot guard.
Okay,
so
yeah,
that won't actually stop it.
Okay, fair enough.
His 1C says cause the target to be unable to move or guard, but I don't think that reduces mobility. I think that just stops them from moving or guarding.
We'll find out.
Anyway, I do have Wataru on my list of units to shard eventually, but now is not the time. So Esther's got a very traditional tank push comp with Elwyn to threaten, and he's got to pick Diehard now, right? Who does Diehard kill? He doesn't kill Archon and Water. He won't kill... well, maybe he kills Dog, actually. What does Diehard look like against Cav Dog?
I have no idea, but Newbie says if the Wataru killing Elwyn does in fact work, so yeah.
Oh, cool. Good to know. Thank you, Newbie.
Yeah, I don't think Diehard can kill Dog. I mean, especially not if he brings werewolves, right?
Oh, werewolves, of course not, but...
And he's gonna, because it's Cav Dog.
True. I mean, Hellhound is not like impossible
yeah.
as a choice. But it's not an AoE comp, it's going to be werewolves.
So, Newbie is also potentially giving double act again to Esther here, which could be pretty scary with Pepsi and Elwyn.
Is that useful? I guess it's kind of useful, but only if he has the mobility advantage, which he won't automatically have.
Yeah, and Wataru is also playing the role of potentially disabling this Landius. I would imagine that Newbie scouted Esther's Landius in the previous games and noted that it didn't have Overlord's badge, so Wataru can also function as an assassin here and give Landius the mobility reduction and then go kill other stuff. So the tank push, keep all my units alive play which double act again would be good with, does not seem great here. So I do agree that Esther probably needs to pick Die Hard here just to have another unit to trade, stun somebody.
You don't play tank push against a deck against a box like Newbies unless you can secure either Albedo or Hilda, and there are ways to get around Albedo.
Yeah. And as for Newbie, Rosalia?
I don't think it matters too much. It's just a long leg. Rosalia is probably slightly better at that. But Helena has... No, Rosalia probably has better range on this map, right?
Rosalia does have better range, but Helena is a better answer to Elwyn, so I guess you pick Helena.
True. Elwyn is one of the threats we actually need to care about. Helena is also a better answer to Pepsi if she's ever able to like shiv or park herself next to Pepsi. That actually breaks shield even if he's being guarded.
And at this point, we've basically seen all these units, so we don't really need to go over the skills. Yeah, the New Rash always runs the same skill set pretty much. He might change one or two skills. In this,
there are times where Virash changes things around, but it's usually pre-C, Tidal, Thingy, and Revive.
And New Flow here is bringing Mass Attack.
There's Mass Attack there, yeah. There is in fact, well, Dog has faction buff, but faction buff goes to absolutely nobody, so...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Newbie mentions he can't trade, which is what I was getting at. So double act again, just... yeah. Good starting position with the IBC. You want your 2 units that you want to position your 2 units that you want the buff right there, and you always want to have your IBC to be able to activate her buff immediately turn 1.
Normally I would be wary and try to get an extra turn out of the formation, but Esther has shown that he is very willing to go in turn 1, so I fervently agree with being able to leave up a bunch of high mobility units to answer if that is the case.
Yeah.
Liana still has act again.
It's good to have the option regardless.
I think so. It's better than the extra turn.
And yeah, as you said, Esther just going straight in. Going for the Tara, which is good because if we're assuming that this Landius is not Overlord's badge, then you disable that getting around Landius through that. And also stuns Dog.
That's alright. Diehard dies, and Esther has effectively killed 1 unit, but now he can't send Elwyn in or Helena will kill him.
Yeah, from here he has to play all within tank range.
Oh, the turn order is bad.
Is it?
He could go in with Elwyn now. He chooses not to.
Oh yeah, fine. Because Helena moved. Could have gone in and killed Dog, but then you end up with Epsi against these 3, and I think with the tank you can probably win that, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Pepsi, Archon is annoying, but once Pepsi has stacks, zombies are very tanky.
Yeah. Wait, his stacks give him like, or do you mean a shield?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Shield. Breeze on Helena? I don't know, that's... Okay, so... The battle is coming to Newbie, very slowly. That breeze on Archon is pretty big. I think that will probably mean Esther has to...
His skills should be down, right?
He should be able to...
This is turn 4.
He should be able to title control, title surge, and that should get his skill back up.
Yeah. It should be up about this turn.
His formation's very good as well. It's a lot of players are still new to using IBC, and they struggle with re-establishing heavy strike formation sometimes.
Yeah, you definitely have to plan that out. A player, like, as we said, Esther just can't really go in, but yeah, here's the problem. I mean, this doesn't kill Ellen. Yeah, this doesn't kill him, right? But Newbie has... Okay, so it does kill him because it pulls him out of tank range, so now Helena can come in. Although then, why didn't Helena come in to begin with? Because Ellen would have had to revive?
I don't know, but Elwyn is dead.
Yeah, Ellen's dead.
Does Pepsi still have his move? Surely, right?
Yeah.
Gonna kill Helena. This is a difficult situation. I think Dog needs to jump.
Yeah, now there's no way to kill the dog, and then IBC is gonna come in, and she should be able to kill this Pepsi. Even supposing that Pepsi's shield even supposing Pepsi's shield doesn't get rid of there, then IBC just dispels it. But is that a Tenyo?
IBC didn't have buff up.
But she has a debuff, so that was a Tenyo, right?
I guess so. I don't think it matters because Pepsi's dead now.
Yeah.
And it's not like because Landius is just not going to, because now Liana dies.
Yeah, it's looking a little hopeless for Esther here. And Landius dies in fog.
And then gets beast shocked, and then that's game. Well, they were good games. Tiaras did a lot of work game 2. I think game 1 was unfortunately quite slanted in favor of Newbie because I think that the compositions just favored him too much. And in the last game, there were a few shenanigans. But I think that because Newbie's box is all about the trade game, and Esther is less good at that. Not saying he's less good at playing that, but
his box is less suited for it.
Exactly, his box is just much worse at it. So as a result, I think that Newbie forced the game into his sort of game. That's just what he does, and eventually took over, and that was that.
Yeah, I do not have much more to add, so congratulations to Newbie for advancing to the round of 16, and better luck next time to Esther.
Yeah, good beats.